This is the CAVS POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How we doing, Cavs fans, and welcome to another edition of the Cavs PostCast, brought to you by Locked On Cavs and the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network in America. My name is Tim Daniel. I have been podcasting about the NBA for 10 years now, and I am very excited to be talking to you this Sunday afternoon, well, early evening, as we discuss the Cleveland Cavaliers getting a much-needed, not super reassuring victory over the Brooklyn Nets, 106-102. If you're just checking my show out for the first time, welcome. We are so glad to have you. If you're watching along here on YouTube, please be sure to hit that notification and that subscription button so you can not only get my show after each and every Cavs game, but you get Danny Cunningham as well on Locked On Cavs here on your same feed. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. On today's show, welcome back, James Harden. Boy, did the Cavs need him today. He was excellent in his return game to the lineup after missing 2 games with a thumb injury. Sam Merrill and Evan Mobley give them huge minutes today. We're going to dive into their performances as well. And I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in Kenny Atkinson's coaching performance today, but there were some things that kind of made me feel like he was doing a little casual work day. All that and a whole lot more. And if you're here in the chat, I want to hear from you as well. I want to get your thoughts. Let's go ahead. Let's get started, guys. And let's talk about where this game really stood out the most.
This is what you'll be talking about.
James Harden today, obviously his first game back after missing the last 2 from the thumb injury, has a near triple-double, only has 9 field goal attempts, but you can just see how different the team is when he's out there, right? Yeah, you shouldn't beat the Brooklyn Nets by 4 points. I get it. It's, maybe it's a hangover from Detroit on Friday night. Maybe it's just the fact that they don't like playing these afternoon games. I don't know. I don't have an excuse per se, but you feel much more comfortable when you know down the stretch of this game you have Uno on the floor. And today he puts up 22, 9, and 8. He's 5 and 9 from the floor, 4 of 7 from 3. Does miss 4 free throws, which is very uncharacteristic of him, but is still 8 of 12 from the line. So that part was really reassuring. But what he just kind of brings to the team, you saw it first possession. They won the tip. They go down right away. He finds Jarrett for a lay-in. Boom. Feel like they're going to get rolling. And just kind of this way that he just controls the game. It's the thing you kind of hearing the most from the guys now that they're getting comfortable playing with him. So they're now 7-1 when Harden's in the lineup. And you kind of saw today where he just kind of found a way to just kind of keep things at a distance. I know at one point Brooklyn's up 7 going into the half, and you're kind of really worried there, right? You're kind of like, no, this isn't a game you can take off. And granted, I know I'm sitting here talking about, well, it's because of James Harden that they're in this situation, that they can win this game. But I can't help but think about earlier in the year when they lose that game to Utah, or they lose that game to Golden State. Now, all those games are at home that I'm bringing up, so that's the one difference here, but just losses that they shouldn't have had. And obviously, I get it. It's different things. And even if you want to think more about it, you remember the second game of the year when they go to the Barclays for the first time, they struggled in that game. They won, but it took them, it took an extra effort to get that game going. So it was really nice to see James Harden out there just kind of controlling the pace, making sure things went their way. I don't think he was necessarily ever worried about losing this game. And you could tell by the way he played out there and just felt comfortable with no matter how things were going. And he really rolled with it. Other guys that we should really give some credit for before we move on. I know I'm going to talk about Mobley and Merrill here in a second, but Jarrett Allen, another awesome game today, 20 and 6. He was great. Keon Ellis today is a guy that, once again, we're going to be singing the praise of 8 stocks. Those who don't know what stocks is, that's blocks plus steals. He had 8 of those today in 31 minutes of play as well. And then I wouldn't say Jalen Tyson was great today. I know his box score isn't going to jump out, but I felt like he gave them enough as the additional starter today as well. So that was really nice to see. And then shout out Dennis Schroeder. Had to hit some big free throws down the stretch there. So for him to kind of hit those shots, get the Cavs going, obviously huge, especially considering we know it's coming up on Tuesday. And that's that big old matchup, that rematch with Detroit, where it's the 4th and final matchup of the season with them. It's the last one here in Cleveland. And it's their chance to kind of go and take care of business and make that even. I feel like the guys kind of talked a little bit about they don't really feel like Detroit can beat them in a series. I still stand on that as well. So excited to see what the transition they make going into Tuesday as well. But I'll tell you what, guys, one thing that really jumped out to me today, well, two, is the gameplay of Evan Mobley and Sam Merrill. And I want to talk about that more right after this. Shoot your shot on PricePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PricePicks is giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5 lineup. PricePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. It's America's #1 app for sports picks. PricePicks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you can cash in. You can choose from basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, UFC, and more. Plus, they've got features like early payouts and flex play, so you've got options while the games are still happening. Download the PricePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineups. PricePicks, it's good to be right. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you never miss an episode, it's time to make it official. Join the Locked On Everydayer Club and get the ad-free audio across to our members-only Discord and more, all built for our most loyal fans. Click in the notes in the subject line to find out more as well. Like I said before we came off the air for the break there, Evan Mobley and Sam Merrill today really kind of made this game kind of get going for the Cavs, and I really feel like they kind of give me credit for the turning point today.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So today, Evan Mobley gives him a +24 and Sam Merrill gives him a +20. Now, I get it. I'm not going to try to make this a situation where I talk about Evan Mobley every single week. I don't want to, every single episode. I don't want to do that. But I do think with how well he played against Detroit on Friday, and then today kind of goes out there and plays really well, specifically kind of really helps him win the game in the fourth quarter, was humongous. So only has 1 block today, but that 1 block was humongous. Has 17 and 13. And probably gets the most important rebound of the game, right? Has a great box out, grabs the board on the Merrill missed 3, which leads to them kind of sealing the game there at the end. So for a guy who we often see people criticize over his inability to be physical and get rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds today for Evan Mobley. I think you'll take that any day of the week. And then on the other end, Sam Merrill plays 17 minutes, 4 threes, is 5-8 overall from the floor, hits his 1 free throw, +20, like I said, 15 points altogether. And for him, it feels like him and Harden play really well together. Now, I know it's easy to say. Harden loves the guys who can catch and shoot, just makes his job so much easier. And he played really well with Darius, so I don't want to say that. And especially big right now with Donovan being out, so hopefully they have Donovan back for Tuesday. But what they were able to get from Sam today, just kind of picking up that extra spot, was really big for them. Obviously, we know Sam is a really, really skilled shooter, one of the best in the league. So to see him kind of go out there and do what he did for them, along with what Evan did, you can make the case that those two, those 4 guys being those 2, Jarrett and James, really kind of carried them to this one today. Now, again, I get it. You're going to come in here and you're going to be like, well, dude, Tim, it was the Brooklyn Nets. They should have beat the Brooklyn Nets. I agree. We're at the point in the season. It's March now. I don't care if they beat the Brooklyn Nets or the Detroit Pistons. I don't care if they beat these teams by 2. I don't care if they beat these teams by 20. You need wins. And for them right now, they also need to get healthy. So, being down Mitchell obviously plays a huge part in this. And I think Merrill did a really good job carrying his own as well. So, especially because, you guys are talking about in the chat right now. I don't want to discredit anything you guys are saying because I like your comments. But Naquan Tomlin has not been the same guy we thought he was going to be here for a bit now. And I never really thought Naquan was a play in the playoffs kind of guy. I don't necessarily think that this stretch of Naquan Tomlin is necessarily who he is either, but you can see Kenny kind of lost trust in him. He played 4.5 minutes tonight. He misses 3 shots. That's one less guy you can count on this game. Thomas Bryant only plays 10 minutes today. Wasn't as good as he was Friday against Detroit, but you can kind of see with Evan and Jarrett, he probably did not have to do as much as they combined for 37 points and 19 rebounds together. So you don't really need to rely on Thomas as much there as well. But Craig Porter Jr. kind of, I don't know. The last couple of games from Craig, I've been wanting to see more from him. And I think we all know the athlete he is, the talent he has there. We obviously know, too, that he's the last guard in the rotation for a minute for a reason. And obviously Max Strus coming back soon as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. I should say if Max Strus comes back, because it seems like we've been playing that game all season too. But hey, win is a win. At this point in the year, you take them each and every way. And I think one guy too, I mentioned that I didn't think James Harden really was worried about this game. The way Kenny Atkinson coached today, I don't know if he necessarily even cared about this game. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. Want to say a shout out again to our everydayers here on the Locked On Cavs postcast. I know this is just my second episode. I'm so excited to be getting going, so excited to meet you guys. Like I said, if you are just checking the show for the first time, whether it's live on YouTube or shortly after the episode, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button, not just here, but on your audio feed of choice as well. So you can not only get my show after every game, but you can also get Danny Cunningham's Locked On Cavs as well, which I think right now he's basically going the same days I am. And then some. So obviously we have a nice break coming up. I know we're looking forward to kind of recharging our batteries when we get to that point as well. And you guys mentioned this in the chat, and I want to bring this up because I don't think it makes any sense to me. And I probably don't want to use this on every single episode, but I think the officiating crew kind of fudged up.
Uh-oh, somebody messed up, and it's time to let them know with who fudged up.
I don't understand the 8-second violation that was called there at the end when it was a 20, or the clock started at 20 and stopped at 14.4. So we see here, Gamble the Camel brings it up. It says, can't believe they called an 8-second violation. Clock started at 20 and stopped at 14.4. That is 5.6 seconds. Yes, I don't understand it either. And that didn't make any sense to me at all, but I don't know how they got to that point either. Okay, so I made the tease. Kenny Atkinson today, I don't think had his best coaching performance. I also don't know if he was necessarily super concerned about this game either, regardless of how it went, because he ended the third quarter with a lineup where James Harden was the power forward. He rolled out there Thomas Bryant, James Harden, Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, and Craig Porter Jr. And depending who you talk to, what social medias you look at, Luca from Real Cavs fans, Danny himself, everyone had a different thought on who the power forward was there. I don't know if they necessarily had a power forward thought process. I get they were just trying to stretch the floor and get for the offense and maybe do some situations there where they could get Mobley and a couple guys some extra minutes off. But I don't know if Kenny really thought that lineup through. It felt like he was just kind of experimenting there. I didn't love the lineup. The results say the lineup wasn't very good either. If you saw Brooklyn kind of staying in the game when Cleveland made that run there at the end of the third. And it didn't cost them the game, thankfully, but it was also something that if they just don't want to do that one again, I think we're all okay with that. Let that one kind of go by, and thankfully we're able to scrape by and get the win on that one. So shout out Kenny for trying some mad scientist stuff. I think that one was a little too mad scientist-y though. We don't need to do that one again, and we will go ahead and roll on. But the Cavaliers do win today, 106-102, and we will enjoy it because now we have a day off before we get to Tuesday. The big one at Rocket Arena. It's Cavs, Pistons, the rematch. Feels like a little rivalry is coming back there in that one. Feels like that game for Friday night had a lot of intensity. It was pretty physical. So excited for that one. I will be on shortly after the game ends. I really hope Donnie's back for that game. I feel like this is a game they're really going to need Mitchell. But it's going to be a lot of fun. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this Sunday afternoon. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Go Cavs. I'll see you all Tuesday night.